Hey guys, it's Rich with the Spokane Home Guy Group and One Property Network, and we are back again to recap another month in the Spokane County and surrounding area real estate market, as well as talk about rates and maybe a little bit about what you can expect moving forward. And then towards the end of our conversation, we're all going to talk about whether it's more beneficial to save up money for a down payment or reduce debt. And right now, just based on our conversation, it sounds like reducing debt and improving your credit score is probably more beneficial than saving up for a massive down payment. But before we get into that, let's just have a little recap on the real estate market for February. We did see the median price in our area increase by just under 3%. We saw the number of closings pick up, which is a lagging indicator, and really not unexpected. There's, I think, a lot of pent-up demand that's still been sitting out there. We did see the average sale price drop a little bit for the month of February, but it's up year over year, pushing pretty close to $450,000 for the Spokane County single-family surrounding areas. So, from a real estate perspective, for us actively out in the market, we are seeing multiple offers again. We are seeing a lot of buyer interest to start off the year. And my transition into rates is I really think that we're past the eye of the storm, and we're kind of just bunkering right now with where rates are at. And so I'll turn it over.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a rate improvement over the last few weeks that I think is going to be somewhat permanent. I mean, not that rates can't change, and they do change every day, but I think the fear of rates running up to 7.5% or 8% on, are probably over. But I don't know that rates are going to get that much better dramatically between now and June. That seems to be when most economists think the Fed may make a rate decision, if they do at all. So, I mean, that's kind of where rates are, but I think we've, as you said, have stabilized into, a pretty good channel of, steady rates.
Yeah, and with regards to rates, we're still watching inflation, right?
Yes.
And so CPI came out, was the beginning of this week, I think it was beginning of this week, I guess Monday or Tuesday, in line with expectations at 3.1, 3.2%, which is still above their target of 2%.
Yeah, and PPI came out today, and it's in that same range, which is still above the target of 2%.
Yep. And so CPI is the consumer price index, PPI is the producer's price index.
Correct, and sometimes they call it core PPI, where they take out food and energy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so, nothing unexpected, and yet nothing that would, at least right now, get the Fed to come off of where their discount rate is right now. And like you said, June, July timeframe is when most people are expecting, rates to kind of, or at least the Fed to start reducing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which would have a, positive effect on rates. It doesn't mean that they would make a dramatic change. Mm-hmm. I mean, as you and I have talked before, a lot of the people that are buying these kind of things are pricing in and betting that they buy the rumor.
Yeah, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah.
And, I think from a decision-making standpoint, there's two variables that we're trying to control both. I think oftentimes, when people are making a decision to buy now or wait until some sort of event, and what I would say is when rates come down, if they come down, we're still at depressed inventory levels. A couple videos ago, we talked about if you're waiting for the market to crash, it's already happened. It was an inventory crash, and it's a silent consumer crash because if you're not looking in the market actively for a home, you don't really know what the choices are or are not on the market.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you're waiting for the public crash of prices and all that stuff, rates come down and probably not going to see that.
No, and I think also if rates come down, it's going to get more competitive. Mm-hmm. I mean, as we still have an inventory problem.
Yeah, if you look at lower rates, pent-up demand, lower inventory, the variable in that particular case that's left is price, and that's probably going to go up. I mean, if I were a betting man, I'd probably say that.
Well, I mean, the trend you talked about month over month is still happening. And really, I think that the people that are in the market now are people that are they want to buy a house that has a life event. They're either tired of renting or don't want to live with mom and dad anymore. They're going to have a child or have two children. And, if that's in your position, when rates come down, it's going to get more competitive in that price category.
Yeah. Yeah, no offense to mom and dad. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
I'm just glad I don't live with mine anymore.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit ago about is it more beneficial to save up for, a big down payment, or even just a down payment? We'll say 3.5% or 3% down payment, or is it more beneficial to pay down debt? And right now, with an average sale price of, we'll just call it $450,000 for ease of math, it puts you at $13,500 for a down payment on a 3% conventional.
Correct.
Right.
And I think you'd actually be better off. I mean, really, as we were talking, the two main things that we look at really when approving people is the debt-to-income ratio and the credit score. So debt-to-income ratio, there's two ratios. There's your housing payment and then your total debt-to-income ratio that takes into all your other payments. So if you have revolving debt, say $12,000 in revolving debt, that payment's probably, depending on the situation, $300 to $400 a month. By paying that down, you would improve your debt-to-income ratio. Your corresponding house payment with all the down payment assistance programs out there would not go up that same $300 or $400 you're making on credit card payment.
Yeah.
And it actually would it also improve your credit score?
Yeah. So it improves credit score. It actually potentially frees up some monthly debt burden, and gets you closer to owning an asset, and really making a life choice of expanding family, upsizing, downsizing, moving out of renting, whatever it may be. So it's definitely worth sitting down and having a strategy session of like, what's the best path forward. It doesn't mean that you're going to move forward right now necessarily, and that's totally fine. But having a game plan of, I do these things, that's going to set me up well for owning a home.
Yeah, I would encourage people to call us or call your team, and even if you're 12 months or 18 months out, get in a game plan. And there's the steps you need to follow. I remember I worked with a client, this is years ago. She called me up in the fall. She needed to improve her credit. She needed to pay off her debt. So we sat down. I said, these are the things you need to do. She called me 9 months later. She had done everything and had put herself in a position to buy the house she wanted.
Yeah, and it's definitely, especially with where prices and rates are at right now, it is more of a sacrifice. So it might be changing a lifestyle, it might be adjusting spending habits, whatever it may be. And if there's enough of a motivation or a desire to achieve home ownership, it might be a 12, 18-month sacrifice. In the meantime, income's probably gone up. You're probably able to save more as you're reducing debt and get you closer to owning a home. So if somebody wanted to have a session, sit down with you, how can they reach you?
They can reach me. Our phone number is 509-747-1300. Also can be found on the World Wide Web, Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Same with us, except for our phone number is 990-SOLD.